Hi, and welcome back to That's So Nova. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by again. Long time no see, but I do have a very fun project that I think will be perfect for the upcoming fall and the holiday season. And just crafting or bag making in general. I think these are very cute, unusual pouches that can be given as a gift to someone who would truly appreciate it. So what I am talking about is the Oslo Pouch from Tinberry. I'm going to have the link in the description box to the Tinberry's Etsy page, and you can purchase the pattern there. There's no affiliated links. It's just helping a small business. For this one, I made it with a canvas and a cork, and then I interfaced it with fleece. Now, knowing what I know now, I would have probably skipped on the interfacing, or would have thought about a little bit lighter materials, because the seams for binding got a little bit thick in the zipper area because there was a lot of bulk. Or I would have removed the areas that were in the seams and made the interfacing smaller and still get the structure, but at least the binding will be good. I used water-resistant waterproof canvas for this one, and as you can see, it is just so darling. With it, the pattern usually advises you to use a metal zipper that is anywhere from 1 inch to 1 1/8 inch. Now, we're usually used to having, if you're like me, you're sewing with the number 5 zipper, that is 1 1/4 of an inch. And if you do that, then things are not going to line up at the end. You will need to probably most likely take in a bigger seam allowance, and that will alter the way this bag looks. So for the next one, I did a pure wax canvas with a canvas interfacing as well. So wax canvas on the inside and outside, and the material that I used for stabilizer was muslin. This bag came out delightful, fast, and easy to birth and turn, and as you can see, it does have its own stability. With this one, I wanted to give you guys some different information, and just in case you're like, I don't have a metal zipper next. No, you can use your size 3 zippers or just dress size zippers that you get at Joann's, Hobby Lobbies, anywhere, YKK. You can use, if you have it, all you will need to do is sew a zipper stop. For, like, you can get a longer one like this and have this be the zipper stop. I would sew zipper stops at the beginning and end, just a couple whip stitches around the zipper teeth, and you're good to go, and you can use any zipper you want. There's so many cool selections out there. So I wanted you to see that it is possible to do it with continuous yard, but I made my own zipper stops at the beginning and the end, so that way when we're maneuvering the bag around, it doesn't come unzipped and I get flabbergasted and frustrated, because that can happen. So we're going to be making one, and I wanted to go over again some of the different zipper tape. Like, this is a normal standard dress zipper. This is 1 inch wide. This is a bag from YKK metal, and this is slightly larger, as you can see. It's almost the same size as, no, it's 1 1/8 of an inch. And I just been pulling out just slightly different. I found another zipper that had a zipper end and beginning that I think I'm going to be using on this one, because I haven't used a normal dress size zipper. We're going to need a handle. And the wonderful thing about this pattern, it comes in 4 sizes. So this is the large one, and it's so nice. Like, I'm going to keep this in my workroom, and I think I'm going to keep this for like hand sewing projects. And I think I might keep this one actually in my when I'm like on the go and I have to do makeup for a shoot or something. I think this is perfect. This is the medium, and we're going to be making the mini size one today. So I'm really excited about that, because the mini size one is just darling. It's so cute. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you some of the materials that you're going to be needing. Let's see. You're going to need, so 1 zipper. So I'm going to get this is my exterior, and this is my lining. On my exterior side, I have batting that I had in my stash, and if you're like me, you probably have some too from quilting. It's like a cheap polyester one. It's really thin. You can fold over it and it won't create a lot of bulk, but it can help the bag give it more stability if needed. So I have the batting. I have one exterior with the batting on it and one with a lining. I have bias tape. This is very, very important. Normally people buy bias tape, and when you buy the ones that are in the store, they're either 2 inches, 2 1/4 of an inch, or 2.5 inches. This pattern calls for a slightly smaller binding, and she goes into showing you how she creates her bias binding and what you need to do. So before you get started, you're going to have to create your own binding, and that is key. Now, you could do raw edges, water resistant canvas or waterproof canvas, but if you want fully enclosed, you won't have any fraying, then you need to create some binding. Okay, so for this one, I just wanted to show you these two different zippers. As you can see, they're slightly larger than what I would normally have. So I'm going to show you how I cut down, and I'm going to make a zipper stop for one. So I'm going, for both, I'm going to cut this zipper stop off, and I'm going to grab some thread, and I'm just going to thread my needle. This doesn't take nothing but a minute, but it will help you in the long run not be frustrated. You could do bag tags on this. That was going to be for the small, I was going to put to see if I did bag tags, tabs on either side, would it be just as good, but I didn't do it. I tried some other methods. So just go in about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch in. Just do a couple of loops around the zipper teeth. It doesn't have to be too much, and then just tie it off. Okay. So that's where it's going to be. I'm going to pull down my zipper, and I'm just going to clip it. And let's see. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this. And you're just like, Shanova, that's a lot of work. It helps. You could probably do it without it, but I am a chaotic sewer at best. So anything that can help me prevent chaos, I'm here for it. I'm just creating my own little zipper stops. No, I would not recommend stapling. I know someone's going to come in the comments like, would you staple it? No, because the staple would be like a permanent fixture, or when you try to take it out, it may be incredibly difficult. All right. And I'm going to just snip those threads, and we're going to go to the very first page of the pattern. We're going to put on the leather handle. So refer to your pattern piece, refer to page 4 and your pattern piece, because there are markings where you can mark in for your zipper. And not for your handle. I'm okay on that. So I'm going to take a little bit of double-sided tape, no more than like 1/4 of an inch, and place it on the wrong side of the leather. The softer the leather, it won't be a firm handle. If your machine doesn't sew well with leather, I thought it would be really cute to try to put either like a cork handle, like you fold it into 4s and you put it there, or vinyl would be cute like that. And or if it's for a child, I think a softer handle, like having webbing and folding it onto itself so no raw edges and sewing around it would be extremely cute. Because because they like soft things and they want to get it, get point A to point B and just grab it and go. So I'm going to place my leather down on the markings that I created from the pattern. And I'm going to sew about a 1/2 inch block square around. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to be back stitching non-stop. So that's called a double or triple stitch. It will make it look like it's hand sewn leather versus just sewn on, and it gives it the reinforcements that it needs. If your machine is like no to the leather, like I said, I would try alternate, or if you really want the leather, you know, maybe just rivet it in. No sewing, just rivet it in place and you're good to go. Like, I believe, no, I did not rivet on any of them, but yeah, I would definitely rivet it in if my machine's like giving me a hard time. See, it's already starting to form. I think this is the cutest little shape ever. I was immediately drawn to it when I seen it on Etsy. The designer was very courteous and so sweet for allowing me to make a tutorial on this. All right. So throughout this pattern, our seam allowance is going to be 1/4 of an inch unless we're top stitching. So we're going to mosey on over to page 5, and we're going to put our zipper right sides down, making sure that the zipper closes to the left side. And just be cognizant, because your zipper wants to act a little crazy because that leather is there. So just kind of line everything up, clip it to the best of your abilities, and we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take this lining piece and line it up as well. Now, you could base the lining and exterior all down together if you're afraid of something shifting, but there's not a lot of layers, so you should be okay. Back stitch well. And when you're around your zipper, just move it out of the way. A zipper foot is key on this one, and I think it's because there's not a lot of materials that you have the opportunity to play around, play around with your zipper foot a little bit. We're going to take some bias binding. We're going to open it up. We're going to place it on the wrong side of the zipper. We're going to place the right side of the binding. And we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch. And because there's really no trimming in this pattern and everything's getting binding, I make sure you back stitch. All right. I'm going to trim those threads and trim this binding so it's flush against the zipper. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to fold over the the bias binding onto the right sides of the lining. And we're going to top stitch at 1/4 of an inch. If something shifts, put your needle down and adjust it. You can put clips all the way down too. All right. Now we're going to take the zipper and we're going to pull it so we see the right sides. And we're going to top stitch to this at 1/16 of an inch. And making sure that you have your binding going flush against the lining. And this will secure, give the top stitching and make sure the zipper doesn't get caught. All right, trim those threads. And if you want to put a name tag on something or just like a little cute bag tag, you could definitely do that. This is like the prime area to do it. It's a little further down. I did mine's about 3/4 of an inch up from the opening, and I'm just going to put one right here and baste it into place. It's so cute. I love these little tags. They make people happy. I know a lot of my clients, when they have one, they always take pictures of them and send them to me, and they're like, oh my god, this is the cutest thing. So I'm a sucker for some cute tags. All right. So we're going to turn this to face. I'm going to make sure this all lines up here. You can put some glue to make it line up, or you know what I'm going to do, because I don't want it to bow out of place. I'm just going to baste it at 1/8 of an inch real quick. Because sometimes when you fold, things like to get shifty. So I'm just going to now place this right sides together. All right. And we're going to sew this down at 1/4 of an inch. I'm just moving the zipper a little out of the way. And then we're going to bring our bias binding. If you're good enough, you can just probably fold it over and snip. I don't know. For some odd reason, I never can get that. So I just open it up. Right sides of the binding to the wrong sides of the zipper. Sew it at 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And then we're going to have this nice and flush. And anything extra, like threads or any overage, just snip it away. And we're going to, again, sew at 1/4 of an inch. Now this part is the only part that gets a little tricky. After this, it's smooth sewing. And this is not really tricky. If you made a bag, you've done this before. If you haven't, this is a good way to learn. We're going to take this and we're going to open up the zipper from the inside. I have really big hands, so it's going to look like a monster on this little mini one. And we're going to flip this and top stitch. Now this is why she recommends a zipper, metal zipper, because they have a stopping point, but when you open it up to top stitch, you have the bag opens up. When you do the way I did it, because let's say you just have a dress zipper or you have size 3 zipper tape and you don't want to go and spend more money, you're going to have to do a little finagling, but you got this. We're going to stick this in. Of course, my tops, my bobbin ran out just as we're about to start top stitching, but I should be grateful because it didn't happen. It didn't happen when I was top stitching, I guess, so. All right. And I promise you, that was an old bobbin. I should have put it in a new one, and this doesn't take a lot of thread. So we're going to maneuver this bag around so that way it's at the very top. Let your presser foot help you with getting things right. Hold your tails, back stitch, and just slowly start top stitching, making sure the seam allowance is going towards the inside of the bag. You don't want to do all this hard work and then it's hard to unzip and re-zip open. And when you get to the edge, you're just going to have, what I do is I open up the bag fully, kind of maneuver the zipper around the other side of the I'm sorry, I'm trying to move the zipper head. The other side of the, behind the other side of the right-hand side of my zipper. The right-hand side of my zipper foot versus the left. Words like to escape me today. But as you can see, it's stitched down. That's the most difficult part. And see how those pre-made zipper, how we made our closures, it helped tremendously. It's important. All right. So from here, we're going to start to shift and line things up. Now, see how this is all lines up perfectly? If you use a bigger zipper, this will be off. That's why she's very adamant about a 1-inch zipper or a metal zipper, or no more than 1/8, because we're going to shift this. This automatically goes into the pattern size once it's connected. Everything is completely flush. It lines up beautifully. I want to put little tabs. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put the tabs like we do at the ends of the zipper and just baste them on. I'm going to fold them in half and baste them on at 1/8 of an inch on both sides. I know I can't be the only one. Like during COVID, YKK zippers had like buy a bag of zippers for $100, and that was like a $50 and you got hundreds of zippers. So I have so many dress zippers, and because I don't believe in wasting at all, this is like a perfect project for me to get all these little things done. They could be cool little gift bags. Back to school nights coming up. My school, they do like Halloween parties and fall festivals and stuff like that. And they could be gifts to teachers or just people that help take care of my kids while they're in school. So, all right. So here's the tabs on. Just slightly. I'm really bad at trimming my threads today. So now we're going to, where you see the opening, we're going to line up the bottom. And we're going to put some clips. We're going to line up the bottom again. Everything just like lines up so nice. I was so happy making this pattern. I was like, whoa. So I'm going to stitch down the size at 1/4 of an inch. And it does go, there's a small pivot, so just pay attention to it. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to stitch it down. And just make sure it's all lined up together. All right. Now we're going to go get some binding. We're going to open it up. We're going to start at the very top. Again, remember 1/4 of an inch. We're almost there. This is exciting. I'm telling you, this is the cutest little pouch. I love the way it comes together. I was surprised and delighted, and I think I might get addicted to making these. I'm not going to lie to you. Trimming those threads. I'm gonna have a song when my voice is not all froggy. Not to make you feel like I could sing, because I can't. It's not one of my strong suits unless you want to be crying. Let's see. All right. See how cute these are coming out? Let's do this side. And we're basically following along now if you're following with me on page 11. So we're going to do right side of the bias tape to the right side of the fabric. Half inch. Not half inch, 1/4 of an inch. Ooh, I would have had some of you guys do it a half inch and then messaging me like Shinova. I normally wouldn't have my bias binding this contrast, but I wanted you to be able to see it. So I was like, let me do something crazy. So yeah, some sloth and flowers. We're going to now sew this down at 1/4 of an inch. Here I'm placing all those raw edges, and binding also gives the bag a lot of stability too. It gives it its bones. So that's why you can use a variety of different cottons and things like that, and it still stays up. It gives it bones. And then there's built-in shape. One of the shapes we're about to start making right now is that box corner. We're going to sew it at that opening at 1/4 of an inch. And you're going to make sure that the seam right here is going towards the back of the bag. And we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch. I back stitched forward and backwards because this actually is the top of this. So it's the top of this, and you want it just to be nice and smooth. It says nothing about trimming it in here, but I did trim it down to 1/8 of an inch. We're not going to bind it. This area stays raw. So what I did is I put fray check or a little beacon glue right there just to make sure nothing does it. But I liked it better when I trimmed, so it wasn't as bulky. One-fourth of an inch again. And because this is a small area, you might need your thingamajig or a hump jumper or a piece of fabric that's like the same thickness as the bag, so that way you can get over any area that is straggling. So now we're going to box our corners. Now this is very important. I know automatically you want to put this seam to the back. No, she is very adamant about you taking this seam and bringing it to the front. It does give the bag the shape that it needs. So have that seam flat. And I'm just making sure all the materials are coming together. And I'm going to sew this at 1/4 of an inch. I will not trim this. I only trimmed the other one outside of the pattern. Just like I gave you the tip of how to use a continuous yard, I just wanted you to know what I use for the best results, and try out on some muslin or whatever. You never know, you may really like the look of a bag having different edges. Let's see, we're going to take our bias binding, we're going to fold it, the top part, in on itself a little. So it's folding over because this is going to be enclosed all together. No raw edges. And then I'm just going to cut the list bias binding and then fold it also on the other end. So both short ends are folded over. Trim those threads. And then we're going to fold over this bias binding again. And trim, we're going to go 1/4 of an inch. Trim those threads. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So, boxing our corners out. I like to squish the fabric. It's nice and tight, and then I can see that I have the lining in there. a clip, 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to fold this bias binding, the short ends, on itself and match it to the seams. Make sure you're back stitching. And then fold the other short end, just sew all the way down to the end, back stitch, trim. This could be like very relaxing because it's like a rhythm. Or like, it's like kind of like sew dancing. You're doing the same thing but in different parts of the bag, and you're watching the bag get finished relatively quickly. All right, so we're going to open up the bag. I'm going to press out with my fingers the corners, and then we're just going to birth this real quick. See, and then it's nice box corners. Pushing that binding in. Taking the time to really maneuver your bag makes the biggest difference in the world. Shaking those seams, pressing them a little bit with my finger. And let's see. Trim those threads. I'm really sticking my finger in the corners. Man, I have buku threads out there. Okay. And as it takes its shape, you can use a little bit of, if you have a lighter, you can melt, though I thought I had a lighter up here, but apparently I don't. You have a lighter. This is the cutest size. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I didn't even really look at it. This is so adorable. So you have this really cute bag. Oh my, I have a friend that has a toddler, and I think I might have to send her this. This is like the cutest little size. One of these would be really cute for doing a gift exchange for the fall or winter. Like this is super cute because anybody's materials will just completely change the game. So we have our little bag tag. We have our little tabs on the side. And the tabs really do help because then you have something to hold on to when you want to zip and unzip. You have your little handle. I'm sorry, this is really too stinking cute. You have your little handles, and it has a really nice box bottom. As you can see, the corners come out beautifully. And with this one, again, 2 layers of water resistant canvas, and then I did batting. So I know that is not a material that they mentioned in the pattern, but after making quite a few of them, I could tell you that different materials give you different structure. As you can see, like this is the most structure, and that has the fusible fleece in it. And this was canvas and that's cork, so therefore it was a little bit hard. I made a leather handle for this one, and this one was waterproof canvas, which is the thicker than water resistant. This, I wanted it to be really natural and just age beautifully. So this is wax canvas, and it's a thinner one. I think this is a 12 ounce, and no, an 8 ounce. And then I did it for the lining as well, and I just used muslin in the inside. And as you can tell, because of the binding, no matter what, you still have structure. So like you still have tons of structure. So you can choose so many different paths. That little one though, seriously, it is the cutest thing. So you can choose lots of different structures, tons of paths, and get different results. So again, I'm going to, in the description box, you're going to have the following. You're going to have where you can purchase the pattern at tinberry.com or on her Etsy page. You're going to also have information on where you can purchase number 3 size zippers if you're looking for regular ones, and that is just YKK on Etsy. That's what I do. Or you can go to your local store, Joann's, and that is it. If you liked my video, if you can comment, share it, like, it does tremendous things for my channel. If you also are like, hey Shova, you just like knocked my socks off, and I just want to say thank you and give you a cup of coffee, I do have a Kofi. I'll put the information down below as well. Until I see you again, I hope everyone has a wonderful day and stay whimsical. Bye.